Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. The title of today's video is Sunlight is the Conductor of Your Biological Orchestra. The purpose of the video is to help convey the notion of how sun is the ultimate influence on your circadian rhythm and circadian biology. And the sun is responsible for giving you information and coordination amongst all the biological processes. It's essential and it's critical. And I'm going to draw an analogy to how an orchestra works to explain this concept. So I'm going to switch over to the slides, just a couple of slides today. It's going to be a short one, and we'll get into it. All right. All right, here we are. This is my intro slide. Here's the name of the video. Sunlight is the conductor of your biological orchestra. First thing I want to show is an actual orchestra. This is a picture of the London Philharmonic Orchestra. And what I want to show everyone here is this is a large orchestra. There's 100 people or more. And the way they're positioned on the stage, it's not possible for them to see all of the other players in real time or hear all the other players in real time all that well from where they're sitting. Could you imagine these strings in the front row trying to crane their head around to see what the percussionists are doing in the middle of the show? No, neither can I. That's not going to happen. And so the way the orchestra works seamlessly is through the direction of the conductor. The conductor is the heart of the orchestra. Even though the orchestra is made of professional musicians, maybe the best in the world, the only way that they're going to sound wonderful together is if they're all receiving coordinated signals from the conductor. That's his job. It's his job to tell sections to get louder or softer, go faster or slower, and to really make the piece come alive. And so as a thought experiment, I asked AI what would happen to the orchestra if there was no conductor. And the takeaway of what AI said is the orchestra would lose coordination and coherence. And those are very accurate. It's a very accurate description and a really important concept. Losing coordination and losing coherence. This orchestra will not be able to produce beautiful music without the conductor. They will still produce music. You still have world-class musicians, but it's not going to be something that anyone's going to want to pay to listen to. And so that's the importance of the conductor. Now, as a thought experiment, I want you to take a minute and imagine what would happen if you took a regular person and you stuck them up there as the conductor. You dress him up in a tuxedo, you give him a wand, and you put him on the podium. He'll start waving his arms around. What happens? Well, the musicians don't recognize any of the signals. The man looks like a conductor, he acts like a conductor, and to the untrained eye, you think he is the conductor, except the musicians don't recognize the language he's saying. They don't know what he's saying because he's not trained. Therefore, he cannot deliver the coordination and the coherence that the orchestra needs to sound the way it should. All right, so keep that in mind, that the conductor is the one who coordinates everything, and that a fake conductor would mess that up quite a bit. All right, that's the takeaway. All right, we're going to move on to the next slide. This one is wildly different. This is a chart that comes from Chinese medicine. And what it is, it's a 24-hour chart in which different parts of the body are most active. All right. And so this is an idea that's been around for thousands of years. I think it's quite accurate. And it raises a really important question, which is how in the world would your body know it's 5 a.m.? How would it know it's noon? How would it know it's midnight? How does it know? Because this chart is going to work whether you have a clock or not. This chart is going to work long before mechanical clocks were invented. So how does it know, right? And that's a really good question. And the answer is a simple one. The answer is there's something external to you that is telling you what time of day it is, and it is the way that your body sets its internal clock. And we all know what that is. It's the sun. It's the sun cycle. It's the sunrise, the sun throughout the day, the sunset, followed by darkness. That's your 24-hour cycle. Sunrise, daytime, sunset, dark. Those are the signals that tell your body what time it is, right? The sun is your conductor, okay? And so this is a really interesting chart because it gives you information about how to kind of take care of your body and plan certain things in your day. But the question there again is, how does it know? And the answer is the sun. All right. Moving on to the next slide. Now this is a slide I made. This is completely unscientific in every way. The proportions don't mean anything. The colors really don't mean anything. I made it to illustrate a point. Okay. And so what you see down here, it says time of day. We go from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. And what this chart represents is the different wavelengths of sunlight that come out in different times of the day. Technically, they're all there, but the atmosphere blocks large portions of them at certain times of the day. All right. So we're going to start at 6 a.m. and we're going to call that sunrise. This dark red here represents infrared energy, and the lighter red represents red light, red and orange. Right. So at a sunrise, the light you're receiving is mostly infrared and red. As you move into the morning, these teal colored represents the blues and the greens and the violets that come out. You start to get more colors. As you get later into the morning, around 10 or 11, this kind of magenta here represents UVA, right? UVA comes out. And then in the middle of the day, you get UVB. And then as you go into the afternoon, the process unwinds and tapers. First you lose UVB, then you lose UVA, then you lose the colors, and you end the day with red and infrared. And the reason I made this chart is to show you that it's these changing wavelengths throughout the day that tell your body what time it is. And the reason is because you have different proteins in your eyes and your skin. They're called the non-visual photoreceptor system. And the different proteins represent, they respond to these different wavelengths. And so if you thought of all of these proteins across your body as keys on a piano, this unfolding pattern plays music. And only this unfolding pattern plays music, right? You play, it's the coherence and the coordination of your biological orchestra. And so this is what's required. And this is what teaches you what time of day it is. And so this is a critically important concept. And the only way to stay in tune with this is to expose yourself to sunlight every day, multiple times a day, and equally importantly, at nighttime to keep it dark. This chart doesn't really show that, but the darkness is the second half of the signal. When it's dark, it needs to stay dark, all right? Because the second you get light after a dark cycle, your body thinks it's morning, all right? So if you flip on your lights at 1 a.m. in the morning, you just told your body at 6 a.m. And it's very confusing because it's supposed to be 1 a.m. or midnight, but you have just thrown a real monkey wrench into the way your body works. All right. So we're going to, I'm going to go out of these slides for a second, and we're going to wrap up with one last concept. Okay. So I hope that was informative. The takeaway points are the way your body achieves biological coordination and coherence is through adherence to the solar cycle and through exposing your eyes and your skin. We'll get into in another video kind of the do's and don'ts of that. But the takeaway here is that that's the most important thing to develop a circadian rhythm and to have your circadian biology work as optimally as possible. Now, when I discussed the orchestra and the fake conductor, I'm going to leave you this idea. There's a fake conductor in your life and a fake conductor in most lives. What is it? It's this. This is the fake conductor. It's this. This is an LED. This is a compact fluorescent. These are fake conductors. Because just like the conductor, who is not a real conductor, is going to wave his arms around and send signals the orchestra doesn't recognize, because the spectrum of these lights is so different than sunlight, it's the equivalent of sending your body a fake signal. Your biology receives this signal through your non-visual photoreceptors and says, WTF is that? That's it. That's all you need to know. All right. Even incandescents are a bad signal, but not nearly as bad as these. The last video I did, we talked about blue light, and I talked about the different types of bulbs and why they're bad, but this is the key, right? And so the worst thing to do is to be under blue light dominant lights at night, because then you're getting a double bad signal. You're getting a fake conductor, right? You're getting a signal that the body doesn't recognize, and you're getting it at the time when things are supposed to be dark. This is a real unrecognized cause of problems, is having artificial light at all at night, because it's supposed to be dark. All right. And so that's the takeaway. Watch out for the fake conductors. And you really want to do what you can do in your life to get rid of them, replace them with better lighting sources, and to tune your body to the sun. It's really the best choice. Get out there, watch the sunrise, stick your head outside, go outside a couple times a day so you can absorb the changing spectrum throughout the day. Get out there at sunset so you can see the light go down. And then in your evening, this is a real tricky one, you should really not use any artificial light. You can use, or you should at least use very dim sources of light. We'll discuss that in another video, what kind of lighting choices are appropriate for the evening. I hope you enjoyed the video. I know I enjoyed making it, and I'll see you again soon in another one. Thank you.